All right, and good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, maybe good evening, depending on when you're watching this lesson 216 out of A Course in Miracles. My name is Oliver Blue, and I have volunteered to be your temporary host, guide, and coach this morning. And I send you blessings, I send you peace, I send you love, because love is all there is. And so today we're going to continue with our 20-day review period in which we are reviewing the last 20 lessons from the workbook lessons out of A Course in Miracles. Today, lesson 216 is actually a review of workbook lesson 196, which is entitled, I can't be but it cannot, or it can be but myself that I crucified. It can only be myself that I crucify. Wow, what a grand statement. But before we get into that, let's look at our central theme that we are using at the beginning and the end of each one of these review lessons. And it says, I am. When we hear the phrase, I am, we are but reminding ourselves of who we are as God's perfect creation. Yes, that is who we are. When we hear the phrase, I am, we are being reminded that I am is the one life. It's the one being, God's being, that all life shares. When we say or hear the phrase, I am, we are reminding ourselves of our true nature, of our true essence. And our true nature and our true essence is love. I am love. And so, I am refers to our infinite self, our true identity, what we call the real you. And this I am is not a body, or it's not a form. The reality of the I am is formless and timeless. So who we really are as a creation of God is beyond this physical and limited environment we call the world, we call Earth. It transcends that. I am not a body. I am not this flesh and bone that is born of another human body, lives, and then at the end it dies and exists no more. I am not that, and neither are you, and neither is any of us that are appearing in form. But what I am and what you are is what God is. Not as something separate or different or apart from, but we are one with. We are a part of the whole. We are a part of the completion. There is no God without you. And there is no you without God, because they're one and the same. And so right off the bat, we remind ourselves that I am not a body. Therefore, I am free from what body limitations. I am free from the idea of birth and death. I am free from the idea of beginning and end. I am free from the idea of time and space. I am free from the idea of that which comes and goes. Therefore, I'm free from the idea that is not a fact. The body is not a fact. I am free from the belief in scarcity, loss, separation, and death, because that's what the body represents. I am free from that which can be learned. I am free from this perceptual world. I am free from multiple choices. I'm free from instability. And I'm free from the inaccurate interpretation of my true identity. And so that's a bold declaration when we say, I am not a body. It's a fact. But I am free. But we're not denying the awareness that there's an awareness of a body within our constitution, or with that which is within our reality. But I am not that. I am not my car that's parked down in the garage. We embrace that idea easily. I'm not the bathtub or the shower that I sit in or stand in. Easy. We easily accept that. But when we say, I am not a body, and the mind is not renewed to that reality, all kinds of thoughts come up. But that's why we're going through these workbook lessons, so that the mind can be unconformed to this world belief system and ideas, and be transformed into a renewed state of being, meaning that we return to our original, authentic reality in terms of our thoughts, because in reality, nothing has changed. You are still a timeless and a formless being. It's just that the thoughts that we have attached ourselves to has become a defense against that truth. And so we're going through these lessons to readjust our thinking so that we can bring complete harmony into the place where God placed it. And that was in us. And so because I'm not a body and I am free, it also affirms that I am still, up until this very moment, as God created me. And how did God create me? He created me as his very own self. God created me by extending his very own self, or herself. Remember, creation example is an extension. As we extend this rubber band, it represents, it gives us an idea or illustration of what happened in creation, that there was only the one, and the one virtually extended itself and called that extension creation, or the I am. But the I am is the very same as that which is the creator. The creator and his creation are the same, one and the same. There's not two separate parts. There's no duality. There's only oneness. I love using that illustration. And so now we can look at the workbook lesson 196 and the thought that we covered in depth a few weeks ago. And it says, it can be but myself that I crucify. It can be but myself that I crucify. What is it really saying there? It's saying exactly what it says. First of all, the idea of crucifixion It's just a denial of truth. I mean, at its core, it simply means, crucifixion means to be, it means the denial of truth, the denial of reality. And so that is a upside down orientation that we embrace, because denial only has value when there is a denial of that which is false. It has value. But when we deny that which is the truth, we use the term crucifixion. And so when it said it can be but myself that I deny the truth to, see, it can be but myself that I crucify. I can't do this to anyone but myself. I can't do this to another, because in reality, there is no other. There's only the one self. So when we think we are in the process of denying the truth to another, we're only denying the truth to ourselves. This makes sense? So in the scheme of the world have taught us that there's an enemy, and the enemy is outside of us. And the enemy is a threat. The enemy will attack. And so before we are threatened or attacked, that we should attack first. This is the ego idea. And it comes from it has a foundation in believing that separation is real, that we're not one, that we're not joined, that we're not of the same life, the same essence, the same being. So it's coming from a crazy idea of multiplicity or an insane idea of multiplicity, as the Course uses insanity. It doesn't use the word crazy, it said insanity. And so it can be but myself that I deny the truth. And so crucifixion, again, is the denial of the truth. And we know that we have denied the truth when we attack. Attack means when we hold on to a false idea. When we hold on to a false idea about ourselves, and we look for something outside of ourselves to project that false idea on, it's called attack. And generally it's on another body. We find another body outside of ourselves, because to think we're under the attack is to think that we are a body. And then to think that you are a body, we think that the only way to protect ourselves is to attack another body. But the way for us to correct that false idea of I am a body, I am under attack, I am vulnerable, is to forgive. The solution is forgiveness. And like holding on to a false idea is what attack is. Forgiveness releases a false idea. It lets it go. It understands that it's an illusion. It's not real. It's a self-deception. And so forgiveness releases a false idea for the will of God, and it's replaced with the will of God. The will of God now has a space and a place to show up where there has been a release of the false idea. It's very simple. This is very simple, but it's very true. And without the understanding of this, we seek comfort or peace. We seek to rid ourselves of fear and guilt and anxiety by going on the attack of ourself, because it could be but ourself that we crucify. And so all that I do, I do unto myself. Really got to embrace this. If we are one being, including God, that's why Jesus said, as much as you've done this to the least of these, you've done it to me. Why? He understood that there's only one of us. There's only one life for us to enjoy. Even though it appears that we have these individual separate lives, that is all part of the illusion. That's all a part on the truth. That's all a part of the attack on God or the attack on reality. We got to get this understanding in our minds. Otherwise, we will continue to self-suffer. We will self-destruct ourselves by thinking that another outside of us is an enemy to us, or that there's an enemy to God, which is a strong idea that is promoted, that God has enemies. We have enemies. There is no enemy to attack. There's only a inner me who for a moment have become afraid of itself and projects that idea outside of itself and say, that's the enemy, that's the threat. The Course says that which is real cannot be threatened. Who you really are, who we described ourselves to be at the beginning of this lesson as the I am, it cannot be ever threatened by nothing in this world. It cannot be attacked by anything in this world. Your reality is secure. But when we embrace this false idea of a separate self, when we embrace a false idea of a world of separation, that is where the trouble begins. So that is where the correction needs to be made. We need to go back to where we first held to the idea that separation was real and say, no, it's not real. The Lord thy God is one, and so am I a part of that oneness. We have to embrace the truth of who we are. It is the solution to everything. You can acquire any and everything in this world, but it will not bring you that truth. It will not fulfill the gap of separation. And so, all that I do unto myself. All your life, all that you've done it to yourself. Even when we think we were doing it to another, even when we think we were leveraging punishment on another, we were actually doing it, leveraging punishment on ourselves, and didn't know it. And so if I attack myself, or if I attack another, it says I suffer. If I dig a ditch for another, it said, like they say, if you dig one ditch, you better dig two. Or really, you only need to dig one, because you're going to fall in the one that you dig in, that you was digging for another. It says, if I attack, I suffer. But if I forgive, if I release this false idea. So let's read it this way. If I attack, or if I hold on to a false idea about myself, about others, and about God, it says, I will suffer. I will suffer. It says, but if I forgive, meaning if I release this false idea about who I am and embrace the I am that I am. See, I am that I am. Remember, God told Moses, tell them that I am that I am. That's you. That's me. So, but if we embrace this I am, true self that we are, it says, if we forgive, meaning that if we release this false idea of who we are, we will replace it with the will of God. And what is the will of God? The will of God is salvation. Our salvation. that is already given to all of us. So salvation comes in the knowledge of the truth. Jesus said, you shall know the truth and it shall set you free. Paul picked up on it when he said, grace and peace is multiplied unto us through the knowledge, through the knowing, through the what? Acceptance, through the welcoming of our true identity. That is where it is, guys and girls. There's no other place. God placed it right inside of you. Not inside of you when I'm talking about a body, because you're not that, but he's placed it inside of your creative nature. Your very essence is where it is, and it's protected and it's sealed. He said it's sealed by the Holy Spirit, or it's sealed until the day of redemption. What is the day of redemption? Right now. It's always sealed. Who you are is always sealed, always protected in every moment of every day. It's only when we come to discover that, to welcome that, to embrace that, that we have the direct experience of that. And so it is our thoughts, or the false thoughts that we entertain, that are always running like a runaway child in our awareness, always arising within us. It just takes a little diligence, a little vigilance, and a little discipline, to where we discipline ourselves to not accept ideas that are not true about us. And it takes practice. And that's why we're going through these 300, taking a whole year to practice this. As long as you are in this dream-like world, the thoughts will arise, and you would have to you have to know who you are. And so we practice. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this today, because what I have said, it is quite obvious what we need to do. And so I'll finish the lesson by saying, it can be but myself that I crucify. So we stop all attacks on ourselves by stopping all our attacks on others, and realize that the other is who we are. And so I am not a body. I am free. Makes sense now, right? Free from attacking myself, free from crucifying myself, free from denying myself the truth. But I extend the truth to others. What is the opposite of crucifixion? It's the extension of truth. It's the giving of life. It's the resurrection. So I'm not a body. I am free. For I am as God created me. It can be but myself that I crucify. And it can be but myself that I would resurrect. You are in charge of your own resurrection. So all that you do it unto yourself when you understand that. So we resurrect ourselves. And we no longer attack, because we know attack is self-suffering. When we attack, we suffer. So that's foolishness, and that's insane to attack oneself. It's foolishness and to attack another, because to attack another is to attack yourself. But we choose to forgive, to give up one false perception for the one true perception of who we are. We release the false identity that we have held on to, and allow the idea of God, which is who we are, to take its place, which has never been changed or altered anyway. We just dreamed of it that being changed or altered. And so therefore salvation is given unto us. Let's practice this today. And so it is. Thank you so much. Be back tomorrow for the next lesson, 217. Have a great day. Forgive. Bye-bye.